voice log. I wonder what it's about.
SCPokemon 357 Sedative Sauropod. Nickname Tropius. Creature class Untiered. Special Containment Procedures. SCPokemon 357, also known as Tropius, is currently uncontained. It was originally discovered amongst the tall grasses and reeds of Hoenn's Route 119. Due to the subject's aerial capabilities and its negligible offensive parameters, containment was deemed to be prohibitively expensive for little return. Migration to other regions is unlikely, as even slight exposure to frost damage can result in termination of the subject. Although allowed to roam freely in its natural habitat, YTC Insitute personnel stationed at the nearby weather facility maintain 24/7 surveillance of the subject. Although 6 generations have passed since its discovery, with no changes of any note. Description: Tropius is a tan sauropod weighing in at 220 pounds. According to its leaked Fletchinder profile, it is just over 6 feet in height, although eyewitness accounts contest this assertion. 4 broad leaves affixed to the subject's back render it technically capable of flight. However, its bulky stature makes for poor aerodynamics, resulting in a top speed of just over 10 shuckles. This laughable velocity has been dubbed by YTC researchers as Mach 1. While described as bulky, this is only in terms of aesthetics. SCP-357's hit point rating of 99 makes a poor substitute for steel typing or other useful defensive traits. When threatened, Tropius may attempt to ward off attackers with a volley of tree stars or a full-course wing buffet, but measurements of its offensive output indicate roughly 7 shuckles of physical or special pressure. When compared to an unknown quantity, Tropius ties in special and loses in physical. Researchers present at the evaluation are reported to have been aghastly at this revelation, and several were escorted off the premises as they fell into fits of laughter, persisting for several days and disrupting other ongoing research projects. This bizarre combination of sluggish speed and underwhelming, near-identical mixed offenses appears to have evolved completely independently in many subjects found throughout the Hoenn region. As this parameter spread offers few survival advantages in Hoenn or elsewhere, researchers are baffled as to its localized prominence. SCPokemon 357's most noteworthy feature is the bundle of fruits that blossoms from its neck. Although they resemble nanab berries in appearance, their color palette is entirely different, being a monochromatic yellow instead of the pink and yellow gradation seen in the berries. These fruits secrete a sweet scent that has been isolated and synthesized by YTC researchers, who have dubbed it the Tropius virus, due to its apparent infectious properties. This so-called T-virus was initially believed to mimic the aromatherapeutic properties also exhibited by instances of the Chikorita line. However, while Chikorita's scents resulted in observable improvement in burned, poisoned, paralyzed, or dozing convalescents, the benefits of Tropius's musk appear to be entirely placebo. As an experiment, the T-virus was released into the dormitory of slumbering youngster-class personnel. The infected youngsters remained asleep instead of becoming woke. However, they began using sleep talk entirely unprompted. Audio logs indicate repeated use of phrases such as steps in the right direction, held back by hardware, and gameplay footage not final. Although it is unclear what any of these phrases mean, the sleeping youngsters were instructed to keep dreaming. Upon being administered real pharmaceutical awakenings, the youngsters proclaimed that said awakening saved the franchise, further mystifying senior staff. As the infection progressed, these youngster personnel experienced vivid hallucinations of towers in the desert and islands at sea, which were investigated by researchers who found no such towers or islands. In the final throes of infection, the youngsters appeared to have lost all semblance of sanity, gibbering madly about how Dragon Tales the Safeguard was a triumphant return to form, and how Legacy of the Crusaders will release tomorrow on the Switch 2. Lead lab man Menethil finally diagnosed the infected as past redemption. The terminal youngsters were ceremonially executed by being pit against each other in Pokemon Stadium battles to the death. As additional data points, youngsters were allowed their choice of Pokemon and tactics. Every single one followed an identical strategy. A full roster of 6 grass-type Pokemon, spamming Leech Seed and Toxic while cycling through their team with Baton Pass, all the while ranting and raving about instant death and S-tier performance, perhaps the most tragic delusions yet. Despite the eventual onset of fatal complications, the T-Virus was cheap to produce and did have short-term benefits that the YTC Insitute has determined to be financially lucrative, given proper market forces. Consultants from the Crooks for Cash firm were hired, who suggested a rebrand from the nomenclature of T-Virus, as that was not what the youngsters meant by going viral. Now sold under the label of Tropium pain reliever, commercial production and distribution of the tincture is well underway, with the end of the fiscal year projected to be the deadline for complete global saturation. Watchdog groups have since warned that mass tropium addiction could result in societal collapse. But in more relevant news, YTC Insitute Patreon stockholders report record windfalls. Despite growing public uproar at the YTC Institute's profiteering at the expense of the populace, with support from Devoncore, it appears that any regulation on either the production or price of tropium will not be happening within the foreseeable future. Disturbingly, the Devoncore CEO was recently found deceased, with bullet seed casings and trace breloom spores found near the corpse. Investigation into this heinous crime is currently ongoing.
This is it, Luigi.